Hey, good, you're here. The awards committee wants us to take a look at this guy for the Pinnacle Award. Actually, I was kind of surprised. I thought he'd already won it. Apparently not. Well, I'll be very interested to hear what people have to say about him. Did you bring any popcorn?
I always thought of him kind of as like John Wayne the Duke. Stoic. Knows what he wants and he's going to go get it. Not really anything going to stand in his way.
I could see Ron on a horse too, and I could see him having the biggest gun. And he'd have a story of where he got that gun.
He'd be Clint Eastwood. He'd be action-packed. He'd be leading the way. He'd be showing him how to do it.
I look at a combination of a John Wayne, Clint Eastwood / Godfather / Rodney Dangerfield, and that wraps it all up.
He would be Harrison Ford, and he would do his own stunts and have all the women. Yeah.
Rocky Balboa. The determination to be persistent and to pursue perfection.
He's his own actor, and he's writing his own script. He lives his dream.
There are three kinds of people in the world: those who watch it happen, those who wonder what happened, and those who make it happen. Rarely does a quality of life just happen. It has to be created with desire, determination, courage, enthusiasm, perseverance, and passion. Tonight, we all have the distinct pleasure of honoring a man whose life force encompasses all of these things. He has always chosen to live life at lightning speed, embracing all that it has to offer, always dwelling on the positive, and more than anyone I've ever experienced, Ron has figured out life and has succeeded in the pursuit of happiness.
I don't know. Maybe we should start further back in Ron Brady's story, beginning with his mom and dad. After all, they're the ones who started the business. Make a note to tell the committee we want to insert a little blurb in here about E.F. and Eloise Brady, how they moved from Arkansas to San Diego after World War II and founded a small plastering business. Yeah, this would be a great place to put a montage of Ron as a child and a teenager. Yeah, shots like that. Then we'll pick it up here with something about how Ron and his twin brother Robert got into the business in 1955. Robert managed operations and Ron worked in the field.
We were in a plaster apprenticeship school together. People may not believe this, but he really does know how to plaster.
My dad learned an awful lot from my grandfather as far as the business goes. He also learned a lot just on his own, just being out in the field and learning from the ground up.
So where are we going with this? E.F. passed away. Then, a year later, Robert left the business. That left Ron alone to sink or swim with the Brady Company. Wait a minute, Ron also got married and started a family. He had, hold on, 1, 2, 4, 5 kids. Holy smokes, he was busy.
He used to do a lot of stuff with his family. We used to go camping a lot, fishing, hunting, dune buggying. He used to sing me to sleep at night. He used to sing "You Are My Sunshine" to me. And he worked a lot.
Since as far back as, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, I can remember going to job sites and riding in his El Camino out to the job and walking around and looking at the plaster operations that we had going at the time.
He was paying me 5 cents a wheelbarrow full of dirt if I carted it around and moved it from one area to another. But the first 25 bucks worth of 5 cents a trip went to paying for the wheelbarrow I was going to use to make this money.
And that's kind of his philosophy about things is, I'm going to help you, but you also have to help yourself.
Okay, so meanwhile, back at the office, Ron was reinventing his company into a successful interior and exterior metal stud framing, drywall, eaves, and fireproofing business. How'd he do that?
He had a saying on his wall then, which is pretty amazing, and it said, "Anything the mind of man can conceive, it can achieve." That pretty much tells you everything you need to know about him.
In the interviewing process, he told me that people are your #1 asset in the company. He said that his goal has been and was to hire the best people and to inspire them and to reward them, and you will get the best performance.
One of the greatest things I think I've learned from Ron is creativity and how to apply it. There is a solution to every problem. And you just keep working at it and keep looking at it in a different way until you find that solution.
He's fun to work for and difficult at the same time because it comes very quickly, very non-stop. Questions come very quickly, answers are needed very quickly. He's very fast on his feet. He thinks faster than anybody I've ever met on his feet.
Wow, what a guy, what a company. Real energetic guy. Maybe a little over the top. I mean, just a little, just the kind of guy you want to work for.
Energetic, values, put in more than you take out, being a winning team, innovative, creativity, being a support role, a role model. He's always just so passionate. He brings energy to those around you.
He expects us to work hard, but then he expects that we will play hard when it's time to do that.
I came to work because of Ron Brady and his personality and how much fun he is to be around. I stayed with the company because of the culture that the company has. It really makes you feel like family.
So what about his personality? I've heard him described as one of a kind. What's that supposed to mean?
He really enjoys telling jokes, and one will lead to another. It's like an addiction almost, and it reminds me of a story is one of his things he'll say. We'll be talking about something, he'll say, it reminds me of a story. And then telling that story, I'll be darned if it doesn't remind him of another story, and then you're off.
He took me over to Palm Desert to play golf at Palm Desert Country Club. And we were playing with a couple of fellas, and Ron, as jovial as he is, and he's always joking around. He was telling some kind of off-the-wall jokes, off-color jokes. And while he was in getting a hot dog, I asked one of the guys what he did for a living, and he said he worked for the diocese. And it turned out that they both to be priests. And if you could have seen the look on Ron's face, it was priceless.
He's very, very generous and loving and friendly and gregarious. He's just a great guy. He's a good friend.
He just can't stand to not be involved in all the yaya events.
He's fun, bigger than life, but just huge. He's funny. He's lots of fun to be with.
I've flown all the way from Florida to California for his parties.
They're that good?
They are that good.
Tell me about them.
Well, yes, he does have quirks, but as best friends, we're not sharing those today.
Ron Brady likes a homemade apple pie, but he likes it so well that he hides it in the house so none of the other relatives can find it and share in that homemade apple pie.
You get a kick out of Ron because he's a very sentimental man. If our Star-Spangled Banner gets played, anything like that, he gets teary-eyed.
Aww.
He always catches the biggest fish.
He can't help but catch fish.
And each time the story is told, the fish gets bigger, the story gets bigger.
He really can catch fish.
Invited Ron to go duck hunting, and Ron told me about how he'd done a lot of duck hunting, and the night before we had a barbecue, and he told the guys about all his duck hunting experiences. When it came time to put up, Ron couldn't hit a duck.
He might not have been able to hit a duck, but he sure did hit the jackpot when he remarried.
How did he propose? He came in with a ring and asked my children to come and talk with him and asked them if he could marry me. They all went, yay!
I think they make a great couple. I think it's definitely something to look up to, something to learn from, watching them. Ups and downs, high points, low points, very wonderful parents, very wonderful couple.
I think when you know Ron and Mary, one of the things that constantly surprises you is their capacity for being sensitive and loving and good friends.
We have a lot of fun playing together. It's always been one of our strongest suits.